Okay, good morning, Christian, Bruce, and hello from all the class I know. And then hello to Nehemiah if you think to watch the video today since you're absent. Mike laughed at that, so if you watch the video, you owe him one. Okay, so we're going to go to the textbook today.
Why would you say that?
I can't imagine, why would I say that? Textbook, page 197, 197. 197, William. 197. 197. All right.
Okay.
197. Okay. Now, as in English, not every verb in English is conjugated in a regular fashion. Some change. And so they're starting to get into some of the verb changes that you might have in Spanish verbs too. There are categories of verbs that have what we call stem changes. Now, if you remember in your English grammar, you might have a root word, which is also the stem, the main word, and you can add suffixes, you can add prefixes, you can add endings like ing or ed, but the main word is what we call it the root word in English. They call it the stem here in this book. That's the main word and things that might be changed or added. So in it, like for instance, in an AR verb, let's do hablar. In an AR verb, this is the stem, the main part of the verb, because he's dropped and different endings are added. But this is what they call the stem, the main part of the verb that stays. And so we're going to start dealing with a category of verbs that have a little bit of a change in that stem when you go to conjugate it. And that's what we'll be dealing with in this section here. Verb that have a stem change from E to IE. We'll get to that in a minute. We're going to read the conversation here first. Okay, so we're starting with Conchita. We'll start with Rebecca, and we'll go clockwise. So you read Conchita's line. Conmigo, very good. Okay, Jalen, would you please read Rosalinda?
Rosalinda.
The second line down.
Okay. Sí, necesita. I'm sorry, I haven't been.
You got it. You got right up to the end. You got it really good right up to that line.
Necesito ir de compras. Vamos de
Vacaciones.
Vacaciones. Y debo comprar algunas cosas antes de salir.
Very good. Okay, Mike.
However you pronounce
Vacaciones.
Vacaciones, donde van ustedes?
Very good. William, the fourth conversation down, Rosalinda, the second one of Rosalinda.
When
No, the second one of Rosalinda. See that?
vamos
Yep.
a Puerto Rico, pisamos visitar la
Ciudad.
en
Antigua.
Antigua y
A. That's pronounced like an A.
ir a la playa.
Playa. Okay, go ahead, Rebecca. Interesante. May. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay, Jalen.
Who am I reading?
The third conversation that Rosalinda says. K. Right.
¿Qué piensas de la ciudad de San Juan?
Very good, Mike.
There. Place, no, prefiero ir a ciudades grandes. Me gusta más ir a las montañas.
Okay, now you have a really long one, William. The fourth one of Rosalinda.
Gustan.
May. Remember, their E's are like our elongations.
Gustan.
Gustan.
las montañas también, pero este año mi esposo quiere
Quiere.
qui-
quiere,
quiere visitar Puerto Rico. Él
tiene. Don't forget that last day. Yeah, we're always silent at the end of our words, but they pronounce all their vowels, so it is tiene.
tiene unos
Familiares
familiares quien viven
que viven allí.
ca-
Que
que
viven allí.
Sus
Tíos
tíos
tienen
tienen ganas de
llevarnos
llevarnos a una obra
teatral
teatral. Una noche los programas siempre
empiezan
empiezan tres
tarde.
tarde, así
Que los niños
que los niños no van a
asistir.
asistir a la
Producción.
producción, va a
Quedarse.
quedarse con los
Abuelos.
abuelos.
Very good. All right, Rebecca.
I don't know the first.
Oy, kind of like ooh, it's kind of him.
Oi.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Sí. Correct.
Queremos.
Correct.
Queremos.
Correct.
Queremos. Queremos. Yep.
Here in the like yeah.
Vamos. Mm-hmm.
Vamos. Salud.
You have another underneath.
From
Mm-hmm.
Toronto.
Yep.
La tienda.
Sierra
Sierra
a las ocho.
Hola.
Okay. The very last line. Yeah. Pues sí, vamos. Okay, so back up to the top. Okay, ¿quieres a la tienda conmigo? What did I say tienda is? That's a generic word for any kind of a
Hi.
store. A store. ¿Quieres ir a la tienda? All right, so do you want to go to the store with me? ¿Quieres? Do you want to go ir a la tienda, to the store conmigo with me? Then Rosalinda says, sí. Was that yes or no? Yes. Necesito ir de compras. I need to go shopping. Okay, so it says, vamos de vacaciones. We are going to on vacation. Y debo comprar algunas cosas antes de salir. And I really should buy some things before I leave. And then Conchita says, de vacaciones, vacation, ¿a dónde van ustedes? Where are you all going? So where are they going?
To
Puerto
Puerto Rico.
Rico, right. We're thinking about visiting the old city and going to the beach. Now, William read this line. Look at the part, everybody look, I want you following. On the second one of Rosalinda, when it says, vamos a Puerto Rico. Pensamos visitar, we are thinking about visiting, La Ciudad Antigua, the old city. We have not come across, as far as I remember, we have not come across that letter E there. Mike, what might it mean?
Hey. And.
Believe it or not, it's another word for and the only reason they did it, the main word for and is the letter Y, and we pronounce it E, but the next word starts with the
Please
same
don't say
sound, E, so they never put those two sounds together, ear,
I thought
ear,
you-
so they changed the E to an,
So
they changed the Y, the
Ah,
E sound to an E, which is an A sound, so it's a ear, so you can hear it more profoundly. So instead of saying, pensamos visitar la ciudad antigua ear, they say a ear, and it just means and. Okay, then Conchita says, and then go to the beach, by the way. Playa is the beach. And they say, oh, that's interesting. I would love to go with you. And so she says, what do you think about the city of San Juan? And she says, pues, I don't prefer big cities. She says, I like going to the mountains. Me gusta más ir a las montañas. She says, I like going better to the mountains. Then Rosalinda says, I like the mountains too, but this year my husband wants to go visit Puerto Rico. He has some family that live down there. His aunt and uncle, they want to go take us to a theatrical work one night, and the programs always start late. So the children can't go to the production, so they're going to stay with the grandparents. Oh, she said, oh, look, it's 7 o'clock. If we want to go to the store, we need to leave right now. The store closes at 8. La tienda cierra a las 8. All right, so then Jalen read, well, let's go then. Okay, so now, let's see. Jalen was the last one to read. Mike, you get the first true and false. Rosalinda y Conchita van a ir de vacaciones. ¿Cierto o falso?
Zero.
Falso. Only one of them is going, not both. They're talking about it, but one of them is only one's going. Okay, William, número 2. La familia de Rosalinda va a viajar a las montañas in Puerto Rico.
Falso.
Falso. They're not going to the mountains. She said she likes the mountains, but that's not where they're going. They're going to the old city. And then Rebecca, Rosalinda y su esposo van a ir al teatro durante las vacaciones. It's cierto. They are going to the theater. And then Jalen, los padres del esposo de Rosalinda viven in Puerto Rico. What do you think?
Okay, that's easy. Cierta.
Yes, it is, because there'll be the grandparents, and they're going to watch the kids while everybody goes
I
to the
didn't even know
theater.
what they were saying.
I know you didn't. I could tell. All right, next, right underneath that, there are several verbs you can use to express your preferences in Spanish, and many of these verbs belong to a special group called stem-changing verbs. And we're going to look at these examples. Okay, look at preferir. I'm going to write this up here. Okay, let's get out of the book for a minute. Preferir. Who can tell me what they think that means?
Oh, that's easy.
If anybody gets this wrong, yeah, I'm gonna say, anybody gets this wrong, it's an automatic flunk. What does it mean? What does it mean, William? Don't tell him. What does it mean? To what? Preferir. Look at it and tell me. You can see it from here what the English is. Don't you tell him. Sit down.
Curious.
What is it? Okay. To prefer. Okay.
See, he found out on his own.
All right. Now,
Yeah, after you whisper.
if we were to conjugate this in a regular manner, quiet, I'm talking. It would be like this. Preferes and prefere. Okay. But since this is what we call a yes, it is. Sorry. Since this is what we call a stem changing verb, I don't know if it's because of pronunciation and just trying to make it easier. What they tell you to do is drop this E and add an IE, which is fine, except it's just easier to say add the I. Okay. So instead of prefero, it's prefiero. Prefieres, prefiere. Preferimos, the nosotros form always goes back to the natural, normal way. It never changes. And then prefieren, prefiere. So what you're doing is you're technically just adding an I in there. It makes it easier to pronounce instead of prefero, prefiero. It rolls a little bit better off your tongue. So this is the stem change on this. They say it's from an E to an IE, and they tell you to always drop the E, add the IE. Just stick an I in there. It's a lot easier to remember. Querer. We've done a lot of to want. Instead of quiero, it's quiero. Instead of quieres, it's quieres. Quiere. Queremos, the nosotros form always goes back to the regular form, and then quieren. So you can see these two verbs here, preferir y querer, and the stem change that they have. It's just taking that main part of the verb, the root word, the P-R-E-F-E-R, and sticking an I right before that second E. Querer, sticking an I right before their first E. So that's the change they're doing. Turn your page to pensar. Pensar is an AR verb. Turn your page, William. Turn your page. Pensar, to think. Pensar. Instead of saying penso, it's pienso. They add an I there right before that E. Pienso, piensas, piensa, pensamos, piensan. The nosotros form never changes, never changes, never changes. No matter what they do to the rest of your verb, they can butcher it all up. You can take your nosotros form of any of the verbs, and it goes back to exactly what it should have been had everything been normal. Now, right underneath pensar, it says stem changing verbs use the regular AR, ER, and IR endings, verb endings. The ending doesn't change. It's a change that comes in the main part of the verb. However, in all forms other than nosotros, the E just before the conjugated ending changes to IE. The nosotros and vosotros forms do not change. We don't worry about the vosotros anyway. They maintain the same spelling as the infinitive stem. Remember the verbs tener and venir. These are words we've had. These verbs also contain that change. Tener. But not in everyone except because the yo doesn't. Yo tengo, that's a different kind of change altogether. It's just a very irregular verb. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos. Then the nosotros form goes back to regular tienen. Venir. Yo vengo, tú vienes, él viene, nosotros venimos, ellos vienen. Let me just check something real quick here. Okay. So here are some additional verbs. Cerrar, to close, does that. Instead of saying yo cierro, it's cierro. Tú cierras. Él cierra, nosotros cerramos, ellos cierran. Comenzar, confesar, empezar. Entender, pedir, recomendar, and sentir, to feel or to get. If you say I'm sorry, it's lo siento. That comes from sentir. So let's do this cerrar. Okay, to close. And you will be finding these on the test, so we need to work with them. Yo, tú, el, etc. And then nosotros. And ustedes. Let's see. Is that, no, it's a D, right? And then I did something wrong there. And ellos. Okay. Now, following the pattern here. Okay. So, of course, we dropped the AR to add our endings. Okay, so, according to what we've just learned, William, what do I do to the stem part of this verb? What did I just talk about? We always do to the stem part of it.
We can put it with any word of any other beginning.
Nope. I gotta make a change to that. Mike, what's the change I make?
In what?
What are we talking about? The changes that we're making to these
The
verbs?
Changing the E to an IE.
Right. So instead of using that wording changing, I say just stick the I in there, right before the E. So instead of yo cero, it's yo cierro to. Rebecca, what would be this one?
C-R-E-R-E-S.
Cieras.
Yes,
Okay, Jalen, what would be the L-A in usted form? That's usted.
Usted.
That's. Spell it for me.
E.
Nope, I gotta add the I first. And then R, and what's my ending for an AR verb?
A.
Just an A, good. Okay, William, the nosotros form doesn't change anything ever, it follows the normal rules. So what would the nosotros form be for this? I'm gonna put it under here. Here's my AR verb, I dropped the AR, so what?
Trust.
No, I'm conjugating the verb now. Spell me how I would put nosotros what? C. My verb cedar, I dropped my AR. What do I put next?
CES.
No. Got
CER.
R, and then what would be the nosotros ending? Nosotros, what is the nosotros ending always on AR verbs?
Sierra.
No, amos. Amos, you've got to learn this, William. Amos. Nosotros cerramos. And then Mike, what would be the last one? Spell it for me. I'm sorry, you may have said it. It's good.
It definitely starts with a C,
Uh-huh.
and probably an I, and probably then an E, and probably then an R, and yeah, two R's. And then just an E.
No, this is an AR verb.
Just an A.
Because that's the singular form. What does the ustedes and ellos always end in? Rebecca, what does it always end in?
A-N.
And right. En or an, depending upon whether it's an IR, ER, or AR. Okay. Cielo, 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 cerramos, cierran. Okay. You guys did so poorly on that. We're gonna have to do another one. And we'll keep doing them till you get the pattern here. The pattern is a stem change. Okay, so we will go to confesar. Okay. All right, now, you did so well in the last one, Jalen. What does this mean? To?
Confess.
Very good. I think it's in the book anyway, but yes. To confess. To confess. Okay. It's an AR verb. Alrighty, so. Alright, Mike, start us off on the yo form on this one.
Yo, confesso.
Okay, not quite, because I have to make that change. If it were regular, yes, that's exactly what it would have been.
Confieso.
Yes, confieso, excellent, very good. You are going to pass it now. L-A and usted. Okay, William, the to form.
To confess.
Okay,
the
now,
sorts.
but I have to put something in there. What am I adding in there? What are we talking about? We're not going to, we have to change this root by adding something. What did we add to our root? What did Mike add to his root? Do you see he had to add a letter? Look at the root here and look at what Mike did. What did he add?
An I.
An I. All right. Now, what do the twos always end in?
A U.
No, it always ends in an S. Confieso.
So-
Yo confieso, tú confiesas. And then Jalen, what would be the él, ella, and usted form? Con.
Yes, sir.
Very good. You passed. All right, Rebecca.
Are you sure?
Nosotros.
You got this, Rebecca. You know you're right. You do better.
What would be the nosotros form, Rebecca?
You know the A-R-N, A-M-S.
Nosotros never changes. You don't add the I. What's
No,
our
I
N?
didn't
Oh,
add
okay.
You dropped the E-R-N at A-M-A-O-S.
Okay. Confesamos. And then, William, since you're the only one that hasn't passed yet, you've got to get this one right. What is my next letter?
Got this.
Come on. Look at the.
Co.
Look. Okay, I've got the C-O-N-F. What's my next letter?
I.
Good.
S.
Not quite.
E-S.
E-S. And then what do ustedes and ellos always end in? What's that very last letter? Always end in an
A.
N. Just an N. Confiesen. All right, you got halfway there. All right. Much better, guys. Much better on that one. All right. Yeah. Okie doke. Now, activity 722. You've got la escuela. Okay, you've got 4 words. Pick the right word. Let's see. We will start with Mike. Don't worry about the C or no.
What page are we on?
We're on page 198. Don't worry about the C or no, the yes or no part. I want you to put the right verb in the sentence. It's blank clases los lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, y viernes. Which of those 4 words do you believe goes in there?
That since it says here, right?
All right, look at, let me show you. Oh, that silly thing is up. Okay, never mind. Okay, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, y viernes are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I was going to say one of those is up on the whiteboard because I said hoy es el lunes, today is Monday. All right, so blank clases los Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What verb do you want to put up there?
Tenemos.
Tenemos. We have classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Very good. So the first one's tenemos. Okay, William, the second one says los profesores blank tener clases en el verano también. And this is completely a no situation. All right, now that empezar, preferir, querer, tenemos. If you look on the page before it and on the list right above it, you will find a form of empezar, prefieren, and quiere, and you'll know what the words mean. And see if you can figure out what might go in there.
I cannot find it.
No, you're on the wrong page altogether. You're not even close. Okay. Okay, so he just put the word tenemos in this sentence. You have this sentence. Okay, so you've got empezar, prefiero, quiere, and you're gonna put one in this sentence. One of those three words.
Quiere.
No, because quiere is singular and los profesores is plural, so that couldn't be right. Prefieren, that's the only plural one we have up there except for tenemos, which we already used. Professors prefer to have classes in the summer also, and that's why I said that would definitely be a no. If we were doing the yes or no. No, professors do not prefer to also have classes in the summer. Okay, Rebecca, you're down to two choices for el director de la escuela blank, cancelar clases mañana. Quiere. It's saying the principal of the school wants to cancel classes tomorrow, and of course that would be another no. No, he does not. And then you're not going to get to do the last one, Jalen, because it's obvious. Empezar is the only one left. Las clases van a empezar a las 10 de la mañana todos los días. Classes are going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning every day. Not going to happen that either. Okay, now, Jalen, on the top of 199. Put your head up and tell me what. Mis padres blank, que necesito estudiar más. Mis padres blank, que necesito estudiar más. Which one do you think would go in there? Not quite, but that is one of the two plurals, because mis padres is plural. What's the other plural verb that's up there? No, that's a singular form.
Okay, I got this.
Piensa. My parents think that I need to study more. Yes, absolutely. Okay, back to Mike. Get your hood off your head, young man. Unless you want a lunch detention. Mis hermanos y yo blank ir a las montañas para las vacaciones este verano. What do you think, Mike?
My siblings and I blank
To go.
to go to the mountains. Prefiero.
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Oh no, because it's mis hermanos y yo.
So
Anytime it's somebody else and I, it's always a we situation. Queremos. It's the only we situation. Yes, we want to go to the mountains for vacations this summer. Okay, now William, you're down to two choices. Prefiero or prefiere. One of those will go with yo. You don't even have to read the rest of the sentence to know there's only one of those that deals with yo. Yo always ends in N.
Oh.
Okay, so which goes in there?
Prefiero.
Prefiero. Yo prefiero cortar el césped en vez de limpiar el baño. I'd rather cut the grass than clean the bathroom. And then, so that means the last one's prefiere. Tu profesor, your professor, prefiere, prefers lavar los platos, wash the plates, en vez de sacudir los, instead of dusting the furniture. Okay, so the last one's prefiere. Okay, now to el centro, Rebecca. The first one says, en mi ciudad, in my city, toda la gente, everybody, that means all of the people, which is, we just use everybody. Toda la gente, blank, al centro, to the same main area, durante los fines de semana, during the weekends, para hacer la compra, to go shopping. So, what do you think you're going to put in there? Toda la gente, cierren, comenzamos, pienso y viene.
Probably not the first one.
It's not the first one. Very good.
I think it's the second one.
It's actually the last one, because it's a singular. Toda la gente is la gente, that's a singular, so you needed piensa or viene. All of the people go downtown to do their shopping on the weekends. Okay, Jalen, número dos. It says, en el centro comercial, in the mall, las tiendas blank a las 5 de la tarde. What do they do at 5 o'clock in the evening, the stores?
Comenzamos.
No,
Piensa.
no, it's cierran, close. In the mall, all the stores close at 5 in the evening. Okay, down to Mike. Yo blank. You got a yo situation, so it should be
The only one that ends in an O
Yep.
is piensa.
exactly, yo pienso. I think that it's better ir de compras, going shopping los martes on Mondays por la noche at night en vez de ir durante los instead of going on the weekends. And so that means the last one is comenzamos, we start. Cuando vamos de compras, when we go shopping, mi familia y yo siempre comenzamos el día con una taza de café. When we go shopping, my family and I always start the day off with a cup of coffee. All right. Okay. You may sit quietly. Oh, you know what? Excuse me. Not quite. Not quite. Okay. Sorry. Go to page 202. Let's read this last cultural section. The last cultural section. Enfoque cultural. Las plazas en el mundo hispano. The shopping areas in Spanish speaking world. What is a plaza? According to the Real Academic Española, a plaza is simply any place within a town or village where several streets come together, often with a monument, fountain, or small park at its center. However, historically, the plaza in the Hispanic world is much more than a mere convergence of streets. It also symbolizes and communicates important aspects of social, political, and cultural life. During the Spanish conquest of the Americas, the crown took great care to communicate the values of imperial Spain in the organization and layout of the colonies. In essence, each colony was to be a mirror image of the glories of Spain, even in the layout of each community. Consequently, at the heart of each town, the plaza was established to serve as the center of political, religious, and social life. Such a plaza was often referred to as the Plaza de Armas. The typical Spanish plaza contains a large public space with a cathedral church at one side and an official government building on the opposite side. This layout symbolized the important unity of the Catholic Church and the Spanish crown as the inseparable cornerstones of society. Between the two, the space that remained was dedicated to various facets of daily living, shopping for daily food, socializing, and celebrating important holidays. Over time, towns grew and additional public spaces were added to accommodate the needs of expanding population. Consequently, even though most cities have a central plaza, many neighborhoods also have their own plazas or parks. Today, the plaza remains an important aspect of Hispanic culture, even though the political and religious importance has decreased somewhat. The public space is often used for open-air markets, concerts, festivals, rallies, and political protests. Although government offices may still occupy some space, often specific services have relocated to other parts of the city. In some areas, the buildings are being renovated and converted into upscale apartments, hotels, and restaurants as a way to increase tourism. Often these renovations seek to maintain the antiquated appearance in order to preserve the historical ambience of the area. Okay, that finishes up at chapter 4. It says in the book we'll finish the workbook over the next day or two, and then we'll be starting to work on your next test. You may sit quietly now. You have about 7 minutes before the bell rings.